Hey guys, it's me, the Bombay Chef Varun Inamdar, and welcome to Rajshri Food. Today's recipe is an absolutely quick, simple, easy, stunning, creamy mushroom sizzler. Let's begin. I'm going to divide this recipe of creamy mushroom sizzlers into 2-3 different components. The first one, of course, is parsley rice. Now, in case you do not want rice in this recipe, you can also substitute the same thing with noodles. You can take soft noodles, creamy noodles, buttered noodles, or just plain steamed noodles. Choice is completely yours. In this case, I have short grained rice, which is parboiled. Now, when generally we parboil, we generally leave it slightly undone. But this one is 100% cooked because we are not going to cook this again. Remember this. So let's begin with adding finely chopped parsley. If you do not have parsley, you can substitute this with any herb of your choice. You can add in coriander. You can also add in mint if you think you want to add that kind of a flavor profile. The next, some chili flakes. And finally, salt. If you've added salt already while cooking the rice, at this stage, just avoid this step. Mix this well and keep this aside and keep this warm. Your first component is done and ready. Let's move to the second component, which is some vegetables. Now in this case, I'm going to use tomatoes. Now generally whenever you go to a sizzler place, you always find grilled tomatoes, grilled vegetables and things like that. I'm keeping the recipe very simple. I'm going to begin with grilled tomatoes, onions and capsicum. Let's do that. But before that, let's move this aside. Turn the flame on. Add in some oil, regular vegetable oil, or actually any oil of your choice. You can use some nut oil, you can use olive oil. Choice is completely yours. Let's ensure this runs in to the entire pan and place halved tomatoes. And along with this, on one of the sides of the pan, you add in some onions. These are regular red onions. And along with this, capsicum. Let's add in a touch of salt. At this stage, you want to add in some spice, you want to add in some herb. Again, all these are personal choices. What I like to do is keep my rice nice and flavorful. The mushrooms are nice, creamy and saucy. Onions, capsicum, tomatoes, potato chips, all of this when it comes together, it takes the dish to a complete different level. And at the base, you have cabbage leaves, which eventually will also caramelize and add its own personal touch. Let's get this right. While seasoning the vegetables, also remember the fact that the tomatoes need to be wonderfully seasoned because they're plump and juicy and grilled. Once the vegetables are grilled to the doneness that you or your family prefer, off goes the flame and we flip and change the pans. Allow this to remain warm. We can bring all of this to life once we decide to assemble the sizzler. But in this case for now, let's begin with a pan, salted butter. Once the butter just kind of begins to melt, we'll add in refined flour. Now this is one of those classic ways of making a white sauce. Let's mix this together and ensure that the refined flour gets cooked till it starts getting that beautiful nutty aroma. While this mixture of butter and flour is getting cooked, well technically French terminologies, this is known as roux, R-O-U-X. So while the roux is getting cooked, let's quickly start slicing button mushrooms. Let's add in the sliced mushrooms and mix this well. Let's season this with salt and freshly cracked black pepper. Once the mushrooms are just kind of sauteed and ready, milk, we'll add in the milk and cook this till this entire sauce is flavorful. When I say flavorful, I mean it needs to have that essence and that punch of mushrooms and black pepper. At this stage, after cooking for like a minute and a half, our sauce is done and ready. At this stage, the sauce has the flavor, like I said, of mushrooms and black pepper, but it's also creamy. If you want to make it cheesy, you need to add in cheese, as simple. Let's grate in some cheese. Well, now here if you realize and notice, you have your parsley and chili flakes rice done and ready. You have grilled onions, you have grilled capsicum, you have grilled tomatoes. You have this wonderful creamy, cheesy mushroom and black pepper sauce. And here I also have with me French fries, homemade hand-cut potatoes. Simple. Let's begin the assembly. Time to keep the sizzle plate or the iron plate to get nice and scorching hot. Once that's ready, we start with the plating. With this, your creamy mushroom sizzlers are done and ready. Make this for your family, make this for your friends. Have a party, have a ball over some creamy mushroom sizzlers. Wait for what next the Bombay chef gets into your kitchen. Bye for now.